Raheem Sterling, the hero for England rather this evening, doing the business in that extraordinary, blistering first half for them. But you'd have to say, Niall, that does tonight belong to Kosovo for all they were beaten, but the way they turned up in that second half?
I think you're dead right, and the England players will be a little bit flat afterwards. There'll be a couple of questions asked. But yeah, it wasn't a fairy tale night for Kosovo, but it was an amazing night in reality. When you look at the odds that were stacked against them as an emerging country, to come and play the mighty England and play them so well, took the lead, and as we said at half-time, way too early. England then resettled, and I think not being used to big occasions like this caught their defence out, and suddenly they were 5-1 down. But didn't they find another spirit again, another level of, I suppose, belief in themselves that they found from somewhere, and suddenly you had England with 10 minutes to go at 5-3, kicking the ball clear anywhere at all. And if anything, if you look back at the game, the statistics will tell you stuff there, but on an individual basis, I would have said, other than in that second half, I would have said some of the Kosovan players outshone the English players. Marici up front, he was bossing it and coming in from the right. Barish obviously got his goals. He was gutted he didn't get to take the penalty to get his hat-trick. Muslija, Selina went close to make it 5-4. It's just a fairy tale night in many ways for them, even though they lost.
Does this raise questions about this English team that, everything was sailing along nicely? Now, they're top of the table with 19 goals scored with 4 games, but problems in that team that you saw the Kosovan midfield pass the ball around seemingly at ease in that second half.
Yes, I'd say that. Looking at the first half performance from England, almost perfect. If you look at Raheem Sterling and what he did, it was a scintillating performance from him. But as the game wore on, and as Niall's touched on there, and how Kosovo decided that we're going to go for it, we're going to have to go for it, needs must. Niall touched on something before the game about England's lack of creativity, lack of ability to hold on to possession. And in midfield, it's where England are seriously lacking. They don't have players that's capable of dominating a game with the ball, and we see some of the other nations able to do that. That is where you would look at England when they get to a major tournament, when they're right up against it in games, who's going to be able to retain possession for them, and they couldn't do that tonight, and Kosovo started to overrun them. That high press that we spoke about before the match as well. It was a good performance from the second half, but the serious questions over that midfield.
That Rice and Henderson and Barkley, that's just not going to cut it at the...
It doesn't seem to me again. I've not seen anything from them again tonight to alter my thoughts from what I saw at the weekend. Exactly the same.
OK, well, here's the Group A table after this evening's games. As we've just seen, England 5-3 winners over Kosovo. They stay top of the table. The Czech Republic overtake Kosovo now after a 3-0 win over Montenegro. Up next, England away to the Czech Republic, and Montenegro, Bulgaria in October. Sterling on the rise for England. A goal tonight, is 8th in 8 games for his country. Chipped in with 3 assists as well. Not a bad night's work for England and for that man Gareth Southgate. Very happy. Well, he was at half-time anyway, but I don't know what the end of the match, Niall, because that second half from Kosovo, they came tearing into it and helped by English defending and English mistakes on all 3 goals.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think they obviously their manager got into them at half-time and said, look, we've got to put a show on second half. We're 5-1 down, but we need to get something from this. And they got it. And England probably were a bit lacklustre. This time you can see Henderson is kind of trotting into the box, doesn't realise that the danger man is behind him in a good area. He tries to claim offside, but not great judgment. He needs to go back and open himself up a little bit there and see the danger and be able to just go and head it clear, but he doesn't. And in fairness to Berisha, I mean, he got the goal in the first minute of the game. He gets the goal, I think it's about the first or second minute of the second half, and it just brought the Kosovans back into life again. And you can see what it meant to him. And, with this chance Harry Maguire, he doesn't look like the player with all that money spent on him. As he mistimes the clearance, and then he just tries to get his foot in the way. You see his left foot comes and, gives Rishi the opportunity to go down. I'm not sure it was the hardest tackle he's ever had, but of course he felt it and went down. He was clever enough, didn't take kindly to Berisha, his teammate, wanting the hat-trick, pushed him away.
And your eagle eye spotted Berisha in the background, not celebrating.
Everybody celebrated bar Berisha. He turned around and shook his head, but that's football. Footballers never change.
Footballers, eh? In fairness to England, now they didn't add to their 5 goals in the second half, but I mean, with the missed penalty with Kane hit the post, I mean, they could have, but
they could have.
What a rarity to see Harry Kane miss a penalty.
Exactly.
For one thing.
Yeah, they could have and should have. I'm not so sure it was a penalty. Initially, I did think it was. I think the initial contact is outside the penalty area, and Barkley went over quite easily. But great save from Muric. We questioned Muric at half-time with his
off
position.
His line a little bit.
Off his... it's ever so slightly, Tommy. You're unbelievably harsh there. But I think as they come into it, then he made 2 greats. That, and Chris Sutton touched on it in commentary, very unconventional goalkeeping. It wasn't orthodox at all, but he did the job, didn't he? But England did start to create a lot of chances later on. They started to overrun because that was largely down to Kosovo pushing forward. They had to. 5-1 down at half-time. They were going to concede chances. But, I mean, Niall touched on something there as well. We're saying tonight was probably more about them and how they play. Rashford here, Sterling with the miss. Fortunate for him, offside.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of errors and a lot of flaws with England's win there tonight. Yes, 5 goals, and it was that man Sterling who did everything brilliant tonight. First half especially.
Yeah, he was sensational, Niall, and we saw there a couple of chances that could have gone in. I mean, would have made it one of the great international performances in terms of what he did tonight. But he did enough in the first half, didn't
absolutely.
he?
Even in there, to be heading the ball in, 4 or 5 yards from goal and a corner kick, that shows a difference in his game. But the way he turns the centre half and the captain Raymond there, that's just incredible. He's still out of the shot. He's 30, 40 yards out of the game. That's incredible. Kane does what he does best. Again, we questioned the keeper, legs wide open, not good setup at all. But that's just incredible to turn like that and get into position and always know to lay it off and then also follow in case there's a rebound. I mean, we're just seeing everything for him. And once again, he says he just gets at people. He looks up. He's all the time looking to do something dangerous, goes towards the byline this time, but just, his ability to shrug off tackles and come through. He's come through 3 or 4 there and always picks a good ball out, Would have accused him of different things in the past. But this is just, he's already looking. You can see his head up. He's looking at Sancho. He knows the gap is opening up for him. He threads it through brilliantly. I mean, that mightn't have happened a few years ago. He might have misplaced it. He might have hit it a bit early. His timing is perfect now. Cutting across.
His choice of passes now, isn't it? That's the thing.
He's doing really... And this is the moment of the game for me. That is just incredible. Poor centre-half. He's gone again. And... I think he's tried to chip the keeper there.
I think he does shoot. If you look at his head as he goes past, he doesn't want to look up at Sancho in the position he's in. He's looking at the goalkeeper. He wants to try and dink it beyond him. But
is it all the virtuoso stuff and the speed and the skill that he always had added to the awareness and the tactical side of things that Guardiola has added to him?
Absolutely spot on. So often when we saw him playing for Liverpool, when he get in one-on-one positions, he chose the wrong pass. When he was in on goal, it was a weak finish from him. Now he's finishing as well as creating. His overall game is outstanding.
He was sensational tonight.